I know this happened earlier in the week, but I didn't get a chance to comment on it. On Twitter I did, but not on the podcast, so indulge me for a few minutes if you would. Paige is on tour right now doing media for her new movie, Fighting with My Family. I see this movie is getting great reviews. Last I checked, it had over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is great. I have no plans to see it. For the half dozen people who tweeted me asking if I plan on reviewing it, I think I replied to most of you, but if I didn't, I have no plans to review this. Maybe if it pops up on Netflix at some point. It takes a lot to get me to go to the movies these days. I generally cannot stand the people there. I said to somebody, though, I said if the Cloverfield Monster was in this movie, I would probably go see it. So if he's in it, let me know. Anyway, she gave an interview to this outlet called Gulf News. And she talked about the women's revolution in WWE. And she gave us a preview of the sequel to her movie, I guess, which she's going to call Fighting with My Fans. She set off a bit of a firestorm with her claim that it was the fans, not WWE. It was the fans holding the women back all these years. I'll give you a second to compose yourself after hearing that. Here's her exact quote. I want to make sure that she's not being misquoted. I know she's since tried to explain herself, but this was the original quote in the interview. Okay, this is not taken out of context here. She said, "It was never WWE holding the women back. It was the fans not taking them seriously. They wanted to see more of the male characters many years ago. It was a male-dominated sport. When I first started, there were only 5 women there. It was a struggle, but WWE just believed in us. When I got into the ring, I wanted to prove to the fans that the girls were capable of having good matches and sometimes even better. That was kind of my mission from the get-go. Now, obviously, there's a revolution." That's what she said. Let me repeat those first 2 sentences for you. It was never WWE holding the women back. It was the fans not taking them seriously. Aha! I see. Now, she has since walked that comment back, because of course she has. She probably wouldn't say that she's walked the comment back, but if you look at some of the tweets that she posted in response to a couple of fans several days ago, in one case, she said, "Even up to a few years ago, certain places we would wrestle in, the fans in big arenas would chant boring at the girls, or they would do the wave, or for years they chanted, 'We want puppies.'" So she said it was absolutely a mixture of both, which is true. But that's not what she said. Her exact quote was, "It was never WWE." Now she says, well, it's a mixture of both. Yes, it is. It is a mixture of both. You did have a lot of fans who did not give these women a chance and chanted awful things at them. Absolutely, the fans are not blameless. But that's not what she said. She literally used the word never. It was never WWE holding the women back. Which, of course, is complete and utter bullshit. This is the same company that once gave Natalia a farting gimmick on television. And they wonder why the fans don't take the women seriously. Gee, I wonder why. For years, they conditioned their audience not to take the women seriously. Bra and panties matches. I remember one time on TV, they did this thing. It was called the over-the-top, off-with-your-top match. Hiring big-breasted women out of modeling catalogs. I mean, that was great. Hey, look, as a male teenager, hey, it's the greatest thing in the world. But that was their choice, to put that stuff on television. And even years later in the 2000s, again, they were picking people out of modeling catalogs. They were looking at people in their thongs and in their bathing suits and picking out wrestlers based on how they looked in magazines. They didn't know the first thing about wrestling. Didn't matter. That's not what the company was looking for. Suddenly, these women are on television, in the ring, and the fans are supposed to take them seriously? They took it for what it was. It was tits and ass entertainment. That's what it was supposed to be. And I'm not talking about Dixie Carter's company. You know, I get it. Sex sells. I get that. That's why WWE did it. That, and you've got a bunch of hornballs working behind the scenes. I think we know that too. But Michelle McCool did an interview once talking about how her and Layla got yelled at backstage after a match for being better than the guys. Chris Jericho was standing nearby. He heard the whole thing. He came over. He laced into this guy. I don't know who this guy was, but he laced into this guy. He said, look, if they're better than the guys, maybe the men need to step it up. It's not their fault. Imagine telling your women, hey, you're too good. Stop that. You're showing up the men. But imagine, like, oh, you're too good. Stop doing that. And then years later, having the fucking gall to say, oh, it was never WWE holding them back. It was the fans. It was the fans' fault. The fans are to blame. I guess the fans were also to blame for all those times that the women's matches on TV got their time cut right before they went out through the curtain. I guess that was our fault too. All those times the women got to the ring and were literally told, as they got to the ring, go home. It's time to go home. When the match hadn't even started yet. They were told sometimes to go home before the bell rang. We need more time for this gas bag, whoever it is, this gas bag of the week to go in the ring and bloviate during his shitty promo. You women need to go home. Take this match home. But that's our fault. It's our fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. They had a man win the first ever women's Money in the Bank match. You know who came up with that crap idea? We did. That was all on us. My bad. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Never in my life have I seen a sport or a form of entertainment that so openly despises its own fans and openly mocks them, calls them marks. That tweet from Goldust from last year, your opinion ain't worth a thin dime. You know he can't be the only one who thinks that way.